Buongiorno, ciao, come stai? Um, Welcome back. It's been a week. I don't do one for 4 months and I do two in 2 weeks. Well, it's partly because for those of you who watched last week, I did promise I would talk to you about a wine from Provence and a film from Provence. Now, technicalities first, the wine I have is not actually Rosé de Provence. It's from Nice, we're a bit further along the coast, Côte d'Azur towards Italy. So it's not technically Provence, but the wine, this one here, is essentially a similar style to the Rosé de Provence, that lovely kind of delicate colour that you can see. It's absolutely stunning, perfect for summer. So to all intents and purposes, it's not the same, but it's as close as. And the reason, I did have some Provence wines, but this is a really unusual wine. And also the film I have, which I'll tell you about a little bit later, is also set in Nice. So you've got a lovely kind of juxtaposition or kind of combination there. So, okay, so what's the big deal with rosé then? It's become very popular, I would say, I don't know, in the last 10 years maybe in Britain. It was popular once upon a time in the 70s. You had Mate's rosé, which was a completely different ballgame. It's a Portuguese kind of semi-sweet. We're all a bit more sophisticated now, aren't we? Apparently. So Rosé de Provence is the epitome really of rosé wine, I would say, and it's the one that fetches the highest prices. And ultimately, I think it's the most exciting one, partly for that amazing colour that I told you about. It's such delicate pink. Its freshness, its adaptability. It's just a fun thing. You get a sunny summer day with a blue sky, the pink wine. It's just everything is perfect. Now, the interesting thing is, in terms of how they make it, obviously down in the south of France, I don't need to show you the map, I think you get the idea where that is. They make rosé from black grapes. They make rosé from wines which they use to make red wine. Grenache, Mourvedre, Syrah, those types of things, which are big, powerful, rich wines. Quite in how they create this delicate beauty from such grapes is wonderful. They use essentially the skin contact in the production. Essentially, the skin, you may or may not know, or rather the colour in wine is in the skin. It's not in the flesh. It's not inside of the grape. It's in the skin. So by minimalising the skin contact after you've got your pressing, they can dictate the level of pink that you get in the wine, and that delicate thing is the epitome. Now this one is slightly darker, as I say. It's a slightly, not quite a Rosé de Provence, but you get the idea. It's a little bit darker, but still it's close enough. And I say this one is a very, very small producer, which you won't find. It was a gift from my friend Charlotte, so I'm not showing off to say, oh, you can't buy it anyway. It's just, I wanted to talk about this because it's the film's Nice as well, and it's close enough geographically and in terms of style to Provence Rosé. Now, with Provence Rosé, people tend to do it as an aperitif. You know, the sun comes out, they go to the pub and they get a bottle of, they might not get Provence, it's more expensive. The rosé is seen as this kind of summer, which it is, aperitivo. Good quality rosé that you get from Provence is much more, or can be much more complex and can be much more suited to having with food as well. It's not purely something you sip, in the sun, which you can do, but the good quality ones have a combination of fruit, acidity, minerality, all these kinds of things, which really lend themselves to eating as well as purely, before dinner. Things like salmon, crab, those types of things, even a salad niçoise, anything like that you could have rosé with. And it's all good. So let's try the wine. Let's see, it's got a lovely colour. This is what you want, lovely and delicate. Basically, you need to have red fruits on the nose is essential. That's what you're going to get. That's what you need to get. This has got a sweet nose. Yum. This is slightly richer in principle than your average Provence rosé, but it's close enough. My mouth is kind of coated with fruit, red fruits. It's kind of softly coated my palate. It's delicious. There's a freshness on my tongue as well from the acidity. That's what you can see my mouth reacting. That's basically what you want. You want something that's fresh enough and light enough that you don't have to think about it too much, but potentially with a background to support some food as well if you wish. You don't have to. For me personally, I like to have a glass of rosé and then have some food with it. That's my personal way of doing it. I realise there's probably people tonight who are just going to drink a bottle in the pub, and that's fair play as well. I've done it myself. but it's that delicacy, I think, ultimately, and the colour, with the underlying power that comes from those grapes. That's the genius of Provence Rosé. It's that kind of combination of freshness and also complexity, with a delightful kind of strawberries and raspberries and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. 5 minutes. I'll get on. You get the idea. Hopefully I've given you some pointers. Rosé de Provence, fine stuff, wonderful stuff. Now the film, it's a French film called La Bonne Annee. Essentially translates to happy. It's to New Year. It means to wish somebody La Bonne Annee is to wish them Happy New Year. And the film is based around, or part of the plot comes from the fact that it's taking place at, well, the climax of the film is New Year. Sorry, the film has got Lino Ventura, French legend from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and Françoise Fabien. Is that? I always get it. Is it François Fabien? Fabien. Oui, I always think Fabien Françoise. It's Françoise Fabien. She's wonderful as well. A very talented, charismatic, and beautiful actress. And they're the leads. It's two things. It's a love story, but it's also a heist. To break it down, I won't give you too much because I'm already in 6 minutes. Takes place in Nice, as I said. She runs an antique store. She's kind of antique dealer, a bit dodgy. He's a criminal who's been released from prison and goes down to Nice for the winter to see what he can find. And he goes into the shop, her shop. Essentially, they fall in love, as happens, and they develop this kind of there's a chemistry automatically, and she's trying to sell him a table. I'm not going to go too much into detail. Anyway, at the same time, unfortunately for him, he's fallen in love because that causes problems when you're trying to rob things and rob banks and all that. He's basically planning a heist with his friend and colleague, collaborator, sorry, played by a guy called Charles Girard, who's also fantastic. They're planning to rob the jewellery store next door, which is a very prestigious jewellery store with lots of expensive jewellery. What he does is he develops a relationship with the jewellery shop owner, but disguised as an old man. And there's a picture on the back of him there, disguised as an old man. So there's comic in there, there's comedy in there as well. But he's torn between sorting this heist out and the fact he's fallen for this woman, blah, blah, blah. And it moves forward from there. Claude Lelouch is the director, who's a legendary French film director. Films from 1973. If you can find it, get it. La Bonne Annee, it's class, absolute class. It's got some great scenes. It's got some great heist action scenes at the end. But much of the film is done quite intimate scenes, conversation between the two of them, between him and his colleague, that type of stuff. Lots of kind of dinner scenes, and very French in that way. You know, it's got that kind of subtlety, but underneath there's lots of powerful things happening. Great film, really, really good. Can't recommend it highly enough. La Bonne Annee. Whoops, that was clever. Don't know my own strength. La Bonne Annee. Check it out. Fantastic stuff. And Rosé de Provence. This is from Nice. I realise that, but you get the idea. The sun's out today. Hopefully it's out tonight and tomorrow for the weekend, for wherever you are. If it's not, well, can't help you there. But Rosé de Provence, La Bonne Annee. If you can't get that, which you won't be able to today, I suspect, go back to Russell Crowe and a good year. So yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you found this entertaining. I've enjoyed talking to you. Rosé de Provence, La Bonne Annee, a good year, whichever one you fancy. Get yourself a glass of Provence Rosé. A bientôt. Ciao.